Hey y'all, it's Chris from Frontsight. Is Glock making a huge mistake, or are they securing their future and reducing liability? So recently, Glock came out with an article, more of a statement in response to articles about what they're going to be doing in the future with the future of some of their models. They have a lot of models. It's a huge list. They've been around a long time. They're in their fifth generation, looking to start their sixth generation of firearm, and they've really kind of collected a lot over the last several years, or last 15, 20, 25 years, a lot of different models. And what they said they're going to do is they're going to, one, reduce the size of their stock based on what models they actually sell. So a lot of those older models, Gen 1 and Gen 4, especially the ones that are in 45 gap caliber, or the maybe the 10 millimeter, or even the 3057, they don't sell all that often. In fact, their volume of sales is very low compared to, say, 9 millimeter. And 40 caliber is also kind of low, but they do sell a lot more 9 mils these days than they used to. And I guess the reason for that is ballistics. The ballistics change, 9 mils has gotten better, things like that. So they're getting rid of some of their old models. And one of the reasons, obviously, we just said, is because they're trimming the fat. So if you do have those guns, though, they have said, don't listen to some of the rumors, they've said that if you have some of those guns, they will still support them. If you need parts for them, they will still supply parts, things like that. You can still get that, but they're not going to make those firearm models anymore. Another thing they said was they are responding to the issue where California is banning any pistol that can be made into a fully automatic pistol. Now, that is in response to, obviously, Glock switches. People make these switches, they purchase them, and they install them on their firearm, on the back of their Glock, and it makes their Glock a fully automatic pistol. I've seen the switches. I understand the general idea of how they work. I'm not really a big fan of them. Anyway, people make them, people sell them, people buy them, and they're highly illegal. So I would suggest staying away from those as best you can. But they are kind of bending the knee a little bit to say, hey, look, we want to make sure that we're responsible. We don't want to produce anything that could have a switch installed. And so they're going to start creating a new model of pistol, basically the same models, but they're adding, it's a V. So it's like the 19V or the 17V or whatever. And what that basically is, it's a new model specifically geared to not allow someone to install a switch on that pistol to make it fully automatic. So that way it can be compliant with whatever state, if the other states decide to do something like that, like California did. So one of the things Glock really has to think about, though, is what models they're going to continue. In the bottom, in the description, I'll have a list of what they said they are going to discontinue. And it's not an extensive list. It's just the majority of the ones. They may have some other ones on there, but it's primarily the Gens 1 through 4. Those models are going to be pretty much like a dodo. The ones they're going to keep, again, we don't really know quite yet. They have said they're going to create some that are the V model, like I said, that's going to not a lot of switches, but they really have to be careful when it comes to law enforcement sales. Now, I did see an article that said that they are not, in that statement, they said that this will not affect law enforcement firearms. If you plan on purchasing a certain type or a certain model of pistol from Glock, it should not affect those sales at all. I know our agency and a lot of other agencies across South Carolina have gone to the Glock 45 MOS, which is, don't get it confused because a lot of people do, the G45 MOS is a 9 millimeter frame pistol, or 9 millimeter caliber pistol, with a basically it's a 19 slide and a 17 lower. So you have the ammunition capacity for a patrol officer, just like the Glock 17, but you have the carryability and the concealability for, say, a investigator or someone in plain clothes that just wants to wear it. It's extremely light. You can put a red dot optic on it. You can put a weapon mounted light on there. And that's what we're going to be going to. But I worry that they might say, well, this is another one we need to kind of curtail. I hope not. I hope they continue to make it for police departments, because it is a game changer. That size of pistol with that type of ammunition, 9 millimeter ammunition, that's going to really make a huge difference in our abilities as law enforcement to be safe, protect ourselves, and protect the community. So I really hope they don't do anything that's going to hinder law enforcement sales and make law enforcement want to go to other firearms. Then again, there are other guns out there that people carry. I know SIG is another big one that officers across the country have carried, even with the nonsense from SIG from previously, or the alleged nonsense, right? There's other agencies that still carry that firearm, like P320. And again, I still have mine. I don't have any issues with it. Other firearms that agencies typically carry, I've seen H&K. Shadow Systems is starting to get kind of big there, which is basically a Glock Gen 4 clone. But the other things you'll see is some police departments across the country allow officers to choose their own firearm. I have seen 1911s being carried. I don't know why you would carry 1911 per se. You don't have the ammunition capacity, and it's really heavy. So I would probably get away from that. However, there are maybe like a 2011. While it is very heavy, you still have the ammunition capacity of a normal 9mm pistol. So, and they can be extremely accurate and easy to shoot. But if you're buying a staccato, you're also paying $3,000 for a pistol. So there's that. So there's a lot of different models out there that Glock is looking at getting rid of. There's maybe some that they're going to look to add, but they're really just streamlining some of their catalog to make it easier for people to purchase certain ones and getting rid of the stuff that never really gets sold. All right, so what do you think? Do you think Glock's making a huge mistake, or do you think they're just trimming the fat? Do you think this is, a big smoke screen or some type of hype to get people to buy guns, or do you think it's much ado about nothing? Just let me know in the comments what you think. And if you do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to go and support us, you can go to our merch store on our website. It's www.frontsightApp.com. Go to the store and pick out a t-shirt, hats, glasses, not the ones you wear, but the ones you drink out of, hoodies, the whole nine. We got a bunch of stuff in there. Take a look. There's a couple stickers in there too. Let me know what you think down below, though. If you want to see or hear anything else about Glock, or go back to SIG, or if you want any other firearms you want me to talk about, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to cover that here in the future videos. Welcome to the revolution. Welcome to Front Sight.